Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we're looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. Just do the dishes that are mine? Have fun with bugs infesting your dishes. I'm a 27-year-old woman with 3 male roommates who are all grad students. I'm in the master bedroom and they all are on the other side of the house. They're all also about 2 years younger than me, so there's a kind of house mum role that I've fallen into. I don't mind it most of the time because I'm like, hey guys, don't forget to do X, and then they do it, but the cleanliness issue is the one that I really can't get over. When I cook, I either clean the dishes as I'm cooking or soak them in the sink for a little while and then clean them within the next couple of hours. My roommates, they just let that sit there. I got annoyed about 2 weeks ago because I went to go make myself some pasta and there was so many dishes in the sink that I couldn't actually clean my pan. Out of frustration, and probably a little bit of passive aggression, I just cleaned all the dishes, and then waited for a time when the guys were home to let them know. Hey, I went to wash a pan earlier and there was no space in the sink. I know you guys are busy with classes, but there's got to be some way of getting your dishes clean within 48 hours of them being dirtied. That way we don't get this pile up, and I don't feel like you guys are leaving the household chores to me. Oh my god, of course our dishes aren't your responsibility. We're sorry. From now on, you don't have to worry about it. Only do the dishes that are yours. Fast forward to about 3 days ago. Roommate 1 is going out of state to visit family. Roommate 2 is in South America with his lab mates. And roommate 3 is probably at his girlfriend's place. They all disappeared like a whisper in the wind. And I woke up the next day realizing that not only were none of the guys here, but they left a bunch of dishes in the sink. Now, we live in the south, and it's just starting to get warm outside. There are bugs, and those bugs get attracted to grossness that gets left out on counters. It's day 3, and all kinds of gnats and flies are gathering around their dishes. Normally, I'd be so incensed that I would just clean it all. But you know what? I refuse to wash their disgusting dishes because they told me I didn't have to. I'm not even going in the kitchen right now, it's so nasty. Thankfully, being in the master bedroom means I have my own bathroom, and I've decided for the hell of it that I'm just going to wash my dishes in the bathroom sink, which is, surprise surprise, bug free. Tomorrow, 2 of them get back from their trips. I plan to give absolutely zero craps when they realise that this is what happens when they leave all the kitchen work for the woman of the house to do. Update. Just do the dishes that are mine. The conclusion. So this is like a follow-up to the previous story. She posted this like 2 days after, and this is the conclusion, I guess. First off, to those of you saying that I should just move the dishes into their rooms, that wouldn't be maliciously complying. Nobody told me to move the dirty dishes. Also, that would have required me touching everything, which I truly did not want to do. I'll keep this strategy in mind for the future when I'm in more of a petty revenge mood though. To those of you who saying I'm just setting up my house for a bug infestation, it's an old rental house in the woods in the south. Bugs are an unfortunate inevitability that we have to stay on top of. Normally, they kind of hang around the trash can, which is gross, but whatever, it's trash. And usually I spray the can down with Raid whenever we take it out. Either way, it's not my job to prevent the house from getting infested. It's everyone's job. That's the whole point. Anyway, moving on. Because my roommates all came home at different times, you're gonna have to know them individually. So here are some fake names. Roommate 1, who went to visit the family, is Nathan. Roommate 2, who went to South America, is Luciano. Roommate 3, who was hanging out with his girlfriend, is Sanjit. Again, not real, just trying to keep them distinct so you don't get mixed up on who is who. So, first we have Sanjit, who came home last night with his girlfriend. As far as I can tell, they skipped the kitchen entirely and went straight to his room. This morning though, I was unlucky enough to be woken up by my cat's claw in my foot at like 7 AM, so I was very awake and heard them shuffle into the kitchen for coffee. Sanjit said it was really gross in the kitchen, and his girlfriend agreed. Sanjit proceeded to say something like, "This is why I don't want to ever cook in here." It's true, Sanjit doesn't cook very often, he mostly gets delivery. So, I could safely assume that the dishes did not belong to Sanjit. He and his girlfriend left the house not long after I heard this conversation. Next to arrive was Nathan, around 2 in the afternoon. I was actually out in the backyard hosing down my cat's litter box. It's the other part of the house that commonly attracts bugs. When he pulled into the driveway, I heard him enter the house, but I didn't want to be standing in the living room waiting for him. so unfortunately I didn't see the initial reaction. When I did go back inside, he was in his room unpacking from his trip, but there was still that gross little bzz 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 around the dishware. I went into my room to reassemble the litter box, and then started browsing Reddit, like you do. After about 2 hours went by, there was zero kitchen activity. I started to get anxious. I gotta say, some of your comments worried me, folks. They won't care, they're your bugs now, etc, etc. I seriously started thinking, what if they really just don't care and these dishes get ignored for another 48 hours? What if I got myself worked up for nothing? So I actually came up with Plan B. Plan A, of course, was the best timeline. A beautiful moment of clarity where all the roommates recognised that communal living is a team effort and we all have to do our part to get by. Barring that, Plan B would be to wait until all roommates were home yet again and corral them all into the kitchen and say, "Look at this. This is bugs. You literally left your dishes for over 3 days for me to do, and don't tell me you didn't. There's the bleach, there's the insecticide, get to work." My blood was boiling a little just thinking about it, and I can be kind of scary for a little lady, so part of me was actually kind of hoping I would get to do Plan B and let off some steam. Thankfully, at one point, Nathan came out of his room and started making a frozen pizza in the kitchen. I heard some dishes clang, the oven door open and close, and the sweet smell of pepperoni filling the air. A few more dishes clanged, and then Nathan started coming by my room. I heard him before I saw him. "Hey, Witty!" That's me. "Hey man, how was your trip?" "Good, I'm just jet lagged." "What happened in here?" "What do you mean?" "Like, is something rotting in the garbage disposal?" "You talking about the bugs?" "I mean, that's what happens when stuff gets left out like that and then everyone leaves town." Nathan makes a face as if to say, "Gross." "Yeah, it's pretty gross. There's cleaning stuff in the cabinet underneath if you're looking for it." "Ah, cool. Thanks." He walked off, looking very sullen, like Charlie Brown on a bad day. The nice part of the house mum thing is at the very least, when I do explicitly tell someone to do something, they do it. So, as pouty as Nathan was, he started cleaning while his pizza cooked. In my head, I was just screaming, "Hooray!" I did a little girly happy dance at my desk. I'm all elbows, and asked myself to relax a little. Not only was Nathan cleaning the dishes themselves, but the surfaces in and around the sink. He was attempting to spray the bugs to death. I left him to it and kept browsing Reddit. I considered updating you guys at this point, but not all of the roommates were back yet, and I hadn't actually seen the finished product, so for all I know, he could have done a crap job. I actually did end up checking the kitchen not long after this conversation. I wanted to make myself some tea anyway, and to my great pleasure, there were no dishes in the sink, and very few bugs. We're still basically in a cabin in the woods, so some little gnats and fruit flies are an unfortunate inevitability, but it was nowhere near the thriving community that it had been a few hours prior. Luciano, the final roommate, got home around 8 PM at night. Much later, in a wonderful mood. He's the party boy roommate, and he and Nathan are best buddies who often get drunk together. Our recycling bin is always full of beer cans and empty bottles of booze, and it's pretty much always because Luciano and Nathan stayed up late smoking cigarettes and drinking. So, Luciano gets back and starts unloading beers onto the counter. "Nathan! Nathan, come here mate, let's drink!" Nathan had apparently been asleep, catching up from his jet lag, and stumbled out of his room, 2 beer cans open. "Lou, you owe me like 5 beers. Did you make chicken last week?" Probably. You want some?" The fridge door opens. "No dude, you didn't wash any of your stuff. It was still sitting in the sink today when I got back." An awkward pause. The fridge closes. Yeah. Dude, look at this. I'm assuming Nathan took pictures of the sink when he got back and started showing them to Luciano. This is what it looked like in here. Like, I know the baking sheet was mine from before, but... my bad. At this point, Nathan started whispering a little bit, so I couldn't really make it out. "I'm sorry guys, but I'm fairly certain I heard my name in there, so I can only assume it was somewhere on the spectrum between a charitable, 'We literally just told Witty she wouldn't have to do our dishes,' and an angry, 'Witty was a huge pain about it, and I had to clean everything.' Either way, whatever. I don't mind being the bad guy when I have a clean sink." A few minutes ago, I popped out to the kitchen to make myself more tea. Everything looked good. Thank baby Jesus. Luciano and Nathan were out on the back porch chain smoking, and Sanjeet is probably still out with his girlfriend. For the sake of it, I gave the kitchen another good hose down with the insecticide and then wiped it down to dry. The kitchen definitely smells like bug spray right now, but honestly, I'll take it. Maybe the lingering smell will be a reminder. I wish I could fast forward into the future here and tell you guys, and they never left dishes in the sink again. The end. But only time will tell on that front. It seems like the number one culprit here was Luciano, and I'm a little sad that he didn't have to deal with the bugs face to face. But if big bro Nathan keeps him on track, then we'll be fine. I'm sure some of you were waiting for there to be a big blowout roommate brawl, and to be honest, part of me was prepared to get into an argument with someone over this. But I'm grateful that stuff was just got done without there being too much of an interpersonal issue. I'm definitely going to keep your strategies in my back pocket for the future. So if this happens again, they'll either get dishes on their pillows or I'll hide all the clean dishes so they can't use them. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you did, then please do hit like down below as it helps out, and subscribe if you aren't already so that you never miss out on another video. If you want to see some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check down below for the playlist for this subreddit. But thank you again, and I will see you tomorrow.